Welcome in, Aquarius. I'm alignedsoultarot. Welcome to your July monthly reading, July 2020. We are moving through the year ever so patiently, right? Lots of changes, lots of evolution happening on this planet, on a micro and a macro level, right? Very personal, but also as a collective. And we're all feeling it. It's all interwoven. And for you, dear Aquarius, you really are feeling it on a subconscious level. So I really do feel a lot of you Aquarians are tapping into your intuition. You have tons of 12th house placements. You have Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, and the eclipses. So the July 4th and 5th eclipse. I am recording this mid-July, so just let these energies serve you as they will, right? I pick up on what you need to know. It could be past energy, present, or future. So just know that even if I talk about dates prior to this reading, it's still fitting for you, right? There's still something to see or witness or learn. So like I said, the eclipse that happened, the lunar eclipse, was in your 12th house, as well as all those other planets I just mentioned. So much emphasis on the subconscious realms, all that is unseen, all that is hidden. And it takes a lot of discipline to actually stay somewhat focused on what's real and what's not. Right? What's hidden within, what needs to come out, what needs to be addressed. And also that's not just reflected upon yourself, but what's also reflected upon others, what you see in others, the masks that others wear. And a lot of this 12th house placement allows you to see through the illusion. And when you have that sense, that sixth sense, that it's almost like a superpower, right? But with that kind of power, you have to learn how to use it. It's a tool. It's intuition and that sixth sense. It's like your spider senses. This might be somewhat new to you, but it also could be something that you're very aware of, that you have already built as a tool. But you're now maybe deepening your awareness of your sixth sense. And you're seeing that reflected in others. And some people might not be able to meet you where you are on your journey and where you are and what you're witnessing right now, because the planets are teaching you specifically a lot about the 12th house. So tapping in and tuning into that so you can bring awareness to others as well. But reflected in the pre-shuffle here, I do want to make an emphasis on that. When there is a lot of 12th house, you can be very confused. You can feel very misunderstood. Maybe not being able to connect with others because you're still figuring it out within yourself, right? And that's totally acceptable, right? We all need our hermit modes. We all need our moments of pause to reflect, especially with all these retrograde planets. So given the fact that we have this eclipse season, the retrogrades, and the fact that you have a lot of 12th house, really make sure that you all are taking a lot of personal time for yourself. And like I said, make sure that you're not projecting too much onto others, because right now you are still in the depths of it. With a lot of the unknown and the subconscious mind, it's hard to necessarily communicate that to others. And with the 7 of air here in reverse, it can come off as very dogmatic or extreme. So you might be butting heads with people on your beliefs and what you believe is true. And even though you might feel it in your core, right, that sixth sense, that 12th house, you know what is true, or maybe you're still figuring it out, wherever you are on that journey. You cannot press others to believe what you truly believe, right? You have to allow others to have their free will. That's their sovereign right? Even though it might not be anywhere close to what is reality or what you believe to be your perception of reality, or your views, right? You still need to understand that and have empathy for others with this 7 of air. yeah, so really trying to use kindness, empathy, understand other people's journey and your own with the journey card here, which we will actually read. I'm going to tie this all together at the end of your reading because I think that this is a huge message for you. As you see in this card, there is this man. It's like, oh, it reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know why. It's like this person is traveling through the woods or this chamber or wherever they are, but it's like the dark and the light, kind of like the dream world and then the reality. So I really feel like this is highlighting your 12th house, also highlighting the shadow and the light self. And when you go into the 12th house realms, you really are digging really deep into shadow, right? It's the 12th house, it's the farthest planet, it's Piscean energy. You're really connecting in and tapping into what's hidden, like I said, within you and others. And it can be pretty heavy, but it can be very dreamy and light and ethereal, depending on where you are in your spiritual growth. It can be extremely pleasant or it can be extremely confusing. And I also say with that confusion in the moon is because we have the Neptune card and the moon card show up for you from the Astro deck. I'm sensing a lot of this moon energy around you, which can bring up a lot of emotions. And also with the Neptune card. We've been getting this Neptune card for a lot of my readings because Neptune went retrograde. And it will be retrograde until November. So it just recently went retrograde. And this is all about illusions. So a lot of us on a micro and macro level are revealing a lot of hidden truths, right? Even more emphasis for Aquarians. You're starting to really see the masks that other people wear. And also for yourself, like I said, it can be internal or external from you. And, it brings up a lot of emotions with the moon card. Lots of repressed feelings, things that you weren't even aware of. And you're like, wow, how deep does the rabbit hole go? That's where I got the journey card with Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if Alice in Wonderland's, you like that movie or not, but I'm really feeling that with the 12th house. Like, how deep does the rabbit hole go? And that's might be what I title this video, because I do feel like you're going really deep. And like I said, when you go deep like that, and when all these planets are in your 12th house, it can be very light and ethereal, and you might be having really amazing dreams, but you might be also having really intense dreams. And you're just having to digest a lot. And really what's important for you is to take that time to digest and not project with this 7 of air. So really that's a big lesson for you with this general reading, is just trying your best not to project onto others what you are healing, what you are witnessing, okay? You can be a beacon, a teacher, a light to others, right? And bring awareness. But there comes a point where that role becomes extreme, right? Think of it as a spectrum. You have one end of the spectrum, and then you have the other, right? And it's like, I personally, this is my personal belief, I like to strive, and I fight for people, and I fight for what's right, but I also witness and realize as a healer, as a mentor, and during my own spiritual growth, that you only can meet people where they are at, right? So if you're push and you're extreme to one end, constantly, consistently pushing, whatever belief system, whatever you believe to be true, whatever you're fighting for, push. I don't think that that's where the healing is. I don't think that's where the deeper meaning is. I think that's, you can definitely get your message across very loud and clear sometimes, but is there really a long-term benefit to that? Sometimes people that are extremists end up burning themselves out. And for you especially, I keep wanting to really focus on that 7 of air, that extremist, because you also have a lot of 6th house placement, which is all about your mental health. It's also about your work, your service, your diet. So you have to maintain a sense of sanity amongst a world that is full of so much illusion and false facts and people that are backstabbing others and, all of this radical behavior that's coming up. And it's like, even through the midst of this chaos that we might all be feeling, especially you, Aquarius, you really have to find that equilibrium on that spectrum, because your 6th house is really being highlighted as well as your 12th. So your personal growth is really going to come from maintaining self-care and awareness and empathy for others, right? You have to heal yourself really, truly before you can heal others. But with that being said, I do want to add into that. There are these beautiful dynamics that you can have, whether they're intimate, friendships, career, where you can heal with others, right? Especially with a lot of this 12th house illumination for you. You can bring a lot of awareness and healing to yourself while you work with others. It depends on the dynamic that you have with that person, but you can't push them to do that. You know what if you get my drift here, like if you find someone that is going through the same lessons, karma, whatever that may be, it's a beautiful dynamic there. That's like a soulmate in a sense, right? Where you really feel like you can teach each other things and you can learn from each other. And there's like this nice reciprocity. Reciprocity is really key for you, Aquarius. So yes, you want to heal yourself before you can really heal and work with others, but you can also have that beautiful reciprocity in relationships as long as there is that balance and you see that balance and you witness that balance, right? So really try to strive for that in all of your relationships, okay? And if you feel that you're triggered or you feel that you're not getting met in certain areas of your life, then you need to learn how to pull back your energy and not keep pushing, okay? Because with the Journey card, this is all about you, but this is all about others. We are all on our own unique paths. We're all learning our karma, and that might look very different, but it also does collectively blend in some ways, and that's where that healing can happen simultaneously between relationships, right? In these other cards here, I am seeing also the shielding card. Like, this is all about that spectrum again, right? There comes a time where you keep pushing and you keep pushing your mental health, not taking care of yourself because you're trying to take care of everyone else. Aquarians are the humanitarians, right? They're known to stand up. They're known to speak out. They're very good at tapping into the collective. And especially right now with this 12th house, you're really dialing in to other people's emotions and feelings, especially with the moon card there. It's like you're feeling a lot. And with that, you have to learn how to shield and protect your energy. Okay? So, like I said, find that equal reciprocity. Find the balance. Maintain the balance. In the description box below, I do provide a lot of information about chakra healing. There's a beautiful channel which provides links for all the chakras. Smack dab in the middle of your reading here, you have this 10 of fire, which as you see depicted here, it's all about illumination. This is alignment. This is true alignment between all of your chakras and finding that balance, right? That we're talking about here. Protecting your energy. You need to be able to dial it back in, go within. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum, because the 12th house, you can really hermit yourself away a lot. And if you're not that extreme outward energy right now, and you're really inward, I think that even on that end of the spectrum, like say that you aren't really putting out your beliefs, you aren't really speaking out at this time, just know that that's serving you as well. But you need to find a healthy balance there somewhere where you are somewhat speaking your truth, but you're not doing it in a forceful way. You know, a lot of the time when I think of communication, you know, I feel making sure that you're not directing it, projecting it, but you're talking about how you feel, right? So if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you're not really speaking out, you're not really allowing people to see what you're going through right now, hermiting away, and other people are wanting you to open up, they need to be able to respect your privacy and what you're going through. But also you can communicate in a healthy way what you're going through right now if you're needing some time. I say this mainly because this open heart card is here. So you can do a lot of this open heart chakra work. But I think the best work that's done with opening your heart is reaching out to others. It doesn't have to be like socializing all the time or going out, or, you know, like I know that we're limited to some of those things, socializing, but when I think of opening my heart, I think of connecting to someone else in some way. I can heal my heart and work on my heart by myself, but that beauty of like sharing that love with someone else in some way, it can be very, very small, very simple. It doesn't have to be romantic. If you are in a relationship, then finding ways to connect. But this can simply be just like reaching out to others through social media. This could be reaching out to a friend, a family member, a lover. Being able to share in that space somewhere, somehow, because with that 12th house, I can sense or feel that you could be hermiting away a bit, which is okay. Like I said, it's a part of your illumination. It's a part of learning how to use that sixth sense, right? And digesting it, really. But finding ways to open your heart and connect. And that looks different for each and every one of you. This is a general reading. If you ever want to go deeper with me on how to do this or how to work with these energies here, you can find my email in the description box below. So it is a time of taking off the mask with this Neptune card. The end of illusion, right? Coming to awareness, illumination with the moon cycles, right? You are bringing forth, we are all bringing forth this new energy. We are decompartmentalizing, okay, with this containers card, all of that past repressed anger, bitterness, resentment, right? That extreme end of the spectrum that, like I said, if it's not you, it could be other people around you, okay? It's a general reading. But like allowing yourself to let it fall. When I see the containers card, this can be about repression, right? And holding things in, putting things in containers and storing them away. And instead of doing that, what you can do with this 12th house, 6th house energy is work through it, meditation, feeling all of your feels, expressing that in some shape or form, whether that be through a relationship or just a creative project, opening your heart, relating to others, even maybe holding conversation in space for people that are really different than you. And I think Aquarians are pretty good at that. Like they are pretty mutable, you know. They are a fixed sign, but the Aquarians that I've met are pretty out there in a good way. I think that they are willing to hear people out that might be different, you know, and that's a beautiful thing, right? So really trying to hold space for everyone and what they're going through, empathizing. And you have the timeline card here. So knowing that whatever you're sitting in, other people, yourself, it's going to take time. Timeline card to me can represent like looking too far ahead into the future. having to stay present. But it also can represent like the unknown, which is really connected to the 12th house, and understanding that timelines can't be too fixed, right? We have to be able to be tangible and flexible with the universe and what's happening around us. So yes, please keep a note of the 12th house. You can also do your own research on what that is. Maybe you might have 12th house placement in your chart, so you can find a lot of that information online. And also 6th house, sorry, my voice. It's early. 6th house, the balance, right? How do you maintain self-care? How do you balance out your mental health, right? Your health, your work, your service. You can't do any of those things, right? Your service in the world, you know, helping others, your job, whatever the label that you are, whatever you do, you can't show up without showing up for yourself, okay? So with that being said, let's dive into your tarot here. Let's see what the tarot has for you, Aquarius. In the description box below, I'm also going to provide another guided meditation that I really like, actually. I use it for protection and healing energy if you work with angels. Any sort of archangel assistance. As I said, that the 3 of Pentacles came out, so this is all about working, collaboration. So definitely working with your angels. I think for those who resonate with that type of energy, I think during this time, working with the angels or whatever sort of spirit, animal medicine, however you connect with spirit is very important, especially with that 12th house. So really connecting in and tuning in, and I will provide that guided meditation in the description box below, as well as the chakra healing meditations. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Soul guidance. Let's connect. Let's tune into what Aquarius needs to know. What do they need to see? Calling on our guides to be here with us, all high vibrational beings, to assist us in this reading for Aquarius. Knight of Water wants to pop out. This is that emotional space for you, Aquarius. I do see the Hermit card here. I think that you are slowly opening up emotionally, is what I'm seeing in the pre-shuffle here. Extending your cup, right? What I said about extending it with that 7 of air is making sure you're not overextending, right? It's all about timing too, is what I'm getting for you. Waking up. I heard that earlier in the pre-shuffle. Wake them up, or waking you up. It's like awaken. I'm hearing. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. All right, let's do this. Let's cut the deck. Like I said, it's the end of illusion. We are all awakening to a lot of energies being illuminated here. There is that ace. You have 2 aces on the board. I actually didn't tell you about this Ace of Earth here, but now that I see the Ace of Swords underneath it, it's really making sense. I'm going to pull an extra one because you had a flipper. Okay, so bottom of the deck. You're healing. Yes, we all are. This is that 12th house energy. Again, also 6th. This is all about healing heartbreak. 3 of Swords. Healing any sort of mental blockages, emotional, a lot of emotions. Like I said, you're slowly opening up your heart with that Knight of Water. It was somewhat in reverse. And the Knight of Earth in the pre-shuffle with the Hermit. So it's like slowly opening up, and it's taking a lot of time just to digest a lot of that hidden, unseen stuff that's within us, right? The subconscious mind. Carl Jung is also a really good mentor if you are looking for some outside information. I really like Carl Jung and his work. Okay, so like I said, you had 2 aces on the board. Given everything that we've spoken on already, there is this potential here. But now that I see this Ace of Air right below the Ace of Pentacles, I do think that there is some potential stagnancy around your work, especially with the 6th house. The 6th house placement was in Mercury, which was retrograde. So just know that we are now coming out of that Mercury retrograde as of July 12th. And I think that given that we're coming out of it, I do believe that August, you're going to see a lot more abundance around you with the Pentacle energy. It is in reverse here, so I do think that we're still in that post-shadow energy. Also, Mercury retrograde is all about communication, right? Like I said, you might be having a hard time expressing what's going on within you with the 12th house placements, but this Ace of Swords is beautiful. This is all about truth. This is all about speaking your truth, right? So I think for you to maintain this abundance in the 3D with this Ace of Pentacles, you need to speak your truth. You need to come to a place of peace. Look at this man here. He doesn't seem extreme on any end of the spectrum. There's balance here, right? The all-seeing eye, the crown being illuminated, knowing when to speak, knowing when not to speak, right? Knowing when to engage, knowing when to disengage for your mental health, right? So you can actually speak, how can I say this? Speak with integrity, I guess speak with meaning. So your message is that much more impactful to others, right? But yeah, right next to this Ace of Air is the King of Air. And I also see a couple here, potentially King of Air, air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, like yourself, or Queen of Fire. This is a fire sign, Leo, Sag, or Aries. But if you're not dealing with any of those signs, just know that you also could be holding this energy. It's about confidence, it's about integrity, passion with the Queen of Fire, and it's also about communication. The Queen of Fire, I'm sensing, is more of that extreme. It can be a little more extreme. So balancing the head and the heart is what I'm getting for you. Logic with emotion. Speaking with integrity. You know, not letting your emotions, any sort of trials or tribulations that you've been through, block your discernment, or potentially hurt others. Know that you are at this time still processing these 10 swords. You are at the 10, so you are reaching the end of this painful period. 10 of Swords is, as you see, it's like the energy field around this person here. Remember what we spoke upon with the shielding card? Very important for you to protect your energy. Knowing when to disengage is so important for you in July. And I think in August, with this Queen of Fire, this is also Leo energy, you're going to be feeling a lot more confident, especially where we're coming out of that Mercury retrograde. I think you're going to feel a lot more confident in your work, especially. But July is kind of like coming out of that haze, really feeling everything on a really deep level and understanding it, digesting it, processing it, and making sure that when you speak with integrity. The King of Air can be very cunning and very hasty. So it's not in reverse. So I'm not saying that's you, but it's just making sure that you're coming from a place of balance when you communicate. Okay? Know that we are all processing these swords, right? This is all anxiety, mental energy with the air energy. A lot of people are feeling this 10 of Swords. The collective consciousness, we are processing all these swords, right? So really trying to empathize with others and understand that we are all healing. Like I said, we are all on our own journeys. Awakening to that realization and opening your heart to others. And knowing when to disengage, Aquarius. And knowing when to engage, you know, that nice balance. Strive for that this month. Maintaining. How do you maintain? Okay? So now we're going to tie your beautiful reading with the Journey card. I'm going to read a little bit from the book here, just to see what this means for you. Okay, so Journey, let me find this here. Give me 1 second, dear Aquarius. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay, so the Journey card represents the first of the 8 influence cards. Your life journey, your past is made up of choices and experiences, moments that shaped and created you. It's also influenced your personality, your character, your triumphs, your mistakes, your successes, your failures. If you look back at your life, you will see that you have moved through from one moment and experience to the next. So really understanding how much your life has created and shaped you, right? And also witnessing that in others, right? Empathy for others people and how their life has influenced them and why they might be the way that they are. And you have also experienced intense joy, bliss, moments of perfection, moments of imperfection, knowing how deeply your past has impacted you, allowing those lessons and truth that you've taken away from life to move you forward on your journey, breaking patterns and behaviors, you know, repeating cycles, and also witnessing that in others, right? That 12th house, like we've been talking about this whole reading, you can see it. It's almost like I said, like, it's like a sixth sense. Like you are witnessing in others some of their hurts, some of their pains, some of the karma that they're learning, and you're having to understand that and allow people to heal. But it's really allowing yourself to be free to live, love, laugh fearlessly, seeing potential and opportunity in others as well, possibilities in situations, but being very discerning really at the same time. So for you, just know that the past does shape you, but the past is gone, right? So there is, again, that balance. I keep seeing the scales. You might be dealing with a Libra. It's really about striving for balance. You don't want to stay too far in the past, right? So if you look at a spectrum again, the past can be at one end and the future's at the other. Where are you sitting on that spectrum? You know, a lot of us have been diving deep into the past with the retrograde energy, and that serves us, right? But there comes a time and a place where we have to stop living in the past. We have to recognize where we are on our path, right? Do we want to keep taking the path that brings us right back to the same lessons, right? The past repeating itself? Or do we want to move forward on our path and learn new things, new lessons, deepen our knowledge, deepen our awareness? All right, I'm going to pull from the Moonology here. Let's get a card for Aquarius, please. One card for Aquarius. Aquarius, there we go. North Node. Stepping out of your comfort zone, yes. Like I said, 12th house can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially when you have several planets in it. Find out where your North Node is. If you want to look up your birth chart, like I said, you can find that online. But North Node is of extreme importance to you. I believe the North Node is in Gemini. I think it just switched into Gemini, which is very relatable energy to you. But I highly suggest doing some research on your North Node if you can. But yes, step out of your comfort zone. Okay? I keep seeing that spectrum. Like there's just like this scale that keeps showing up in my mind. And it's like you're on one end of the scale of the spectrum, and it's like you got to step out of that, right? Stepping out of your comfort zone. Maybe you've been one way and you're just like fixated on that. And Spirit's asking you to open up, kind of dissect that whole spectrum, kind of learn a little bit more, do your research, investigate where on that spectrum are there blockages, right? Blockages with the Three of Swords. Where is there healing that needs to happen in yourself and in others around you? All right, Aquarius, this is your July monthly. Again, if you'd like to go a bit deeper with me, we can definitely dive deep into what needs to be healed. Also more on personal relationships and others. Please reach out to me. I wish you all the best on your spiritual journey. Stay blessed.